We've increased our enforcement. Last night we did more down there, made 4 arrests, I believe. So we have more officers in the area.
Okay, so this might be breaking news, but the Portland police chief has officially announced they will start to send more security within this area of the Portland ICE building. Now, of course, some protesters are not happy about this.
But the increased police presence isn't for everyone.
Confusing, frustrating, it's kind of, odd to see.
Now, many people don't even know this. Just a couple of weeks ago, protesters and the people of Portland were told this will never happen. The police are not going to work with ICE.
Leaders set to introduce a new ordinance tomorrow that would make Portland's sanctuary city policy a law.
So here's what we're gonna do. Many people are only focusing on the protesters, but if you are subscribed to my channel, you know we also focus on the city council, and I think people need a reminder of what's been really going on in Portland and this city council. But I do need your help. Make sure to please like the video. It's the #1 way you guys are helping this channel, and it also helps others see the videos as well. And you guys have made a direct impact on the people who live across the street from the ICE building. They're now finally able to get more security and get sleep. So let's continue this. Please support the channel. Please like. It helps out everyone.
Where do you guys? Oh, there he goes.
Okay, so here's where things get interesting and why protesters might be a little upset with the Portland police. What you're seeing right here, these are federal agents conducting their own arrest on a protester. Meanwhile, now Portland police are saying, well, they're gonna also be in the area and conduct their own security and arrest as well. And this is why protesters are questioning this. I thought we live in a sanctuary city where the police don't work with ICE, and now you are conducting arrest on protesters protesting ICE.
We did more down there, made 4 arrests, I believe. So we have more officers in the area.
Today, Portland Police Chief Bob Day confirmed his commitment to increasing the police presence around the city's ICE facility following that high-profile visit from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
Okay, so this is going to be very important. This is why I'm making this video. Many people have only been focusing on the protesters, but we also need to focus on the city council. All the way back in July, there was this notion or this push to try and get rid of the ICE building, all the way back in July. So of course the protesters, they're just gonna stay down there and protest because they're being told the ICE building will be taken away. They're breaking a contract. But instead, the city is just now sending in the police. And look, I'm happy about it, but what I'm trying to do here is show you guys these protesters and their actions, it really does reflect what the city of Portland tells them what they can do and not do. If the city council is saying, yeah, we support you, you can be down there, the police are not going to work with ICE, what do you think is going to happen? So now that the police, it looks like they're going to work with ICE, what do you think is going to happen?
But the increased police presence isn't for everyone.
Confusing, frustrating, it's kind of, odd to see.
One protester says it has changed the area for protesters.
We're seeing that it of course is not equitable with who is being arrested and who is being charged. And it's safety, seeing people speed right past the cops very quickly, almost knocking people over.
Again, do not take this as me supporting what those protesters support. This is more of a critique on the sanctuary policies we see throughout the United States. They become misleading to the point where it could get so violent that now the police are having to step in, even though police are not technically supposed to be working with ICE because that's breaking sanctuary policies. Again, I want to make that very clear. One thing I also find interesting is that protester is saying the same thing that conservatives are saying. It looks like that the Portland police, they're just picking and choosing who they want to arrest to make it look like they're doing their job.
It doesn't bring safety. It doesn't bring safety to the space as much as maybe it should be, or ideally it should be in some way, but it just doesn't.
While a counter protester says these changes are for the better. like the removal of a campsite that was there for months, and more arrests happening by police near the facility.
Interesting enough, the two people they saw who were arrested are conservative. So again, the conservative perspective and why there was so much national media attention is that conservatives have been arguing, look, the Portland police, when you do come down there, you're only arresting us. But again, I do want to point to the perspective of the protesters. They're actually saying the same exact thing. Again, I know on my channel and other channels, we only focus on the clashes and the protesters, but this goes beyond that. We are seeing confusion on all levels, and there's really only one place we can look to: the people who create the policies. The police are following the policies they're being told they have to follow. And here's the thing, everyone who has helped this channel has all been assaulted within the area of ICE. They have all called 911 and they have all asked for help, and no one showed up. So this again has to do with sanctuary policies, but I'm trying to show you guys, even protesters play into this sanctuary policy. They seem to use it in their favor, but when the roles are reversed for journalists, they're saying, look, because I'm a conservative and I'm a journalist, it looks like we're not getting any help here. Now, this is from September 22nd.
In the event that there is a heightened ICE presence in Portland, we want to make sure we're ready beforehand.
This story developing tonight, the city of Portland looking at ways to crack down on ICE. Leaders set to introduce a new ordinance tomorrow that would make Portland's sanctuary city policy a law. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
So again, think about this. If you don't like ICE and you're seeing this on the news, this is amazing news. Now we're going to be even more sanctuary. Again, the point I'm trying to show you guys is that with these sanctuary policies, they don't really mean anything. They're not even enforceable considering the federal government, you have supremacy clauses.
Everybody, I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp. K2's Thunby Verma joins us from the live desk tonight. Thunby, Portland has technically been a sanctuary city for years, so why do councilors feel this is necessary?
Great question, Deb. So District 2 Councilor Samir Kanal, he's one of the people introducing this ordinance. He says that the resolution didn't have enough teeth in it. That is, the guidance was loose. This ordinance, if passed, would actually lay out things that the city must do to combat ICE.
So you hear that, combat ICE. Look, the city council, they want to combat ICE. And now all of a sudden, the Portland police, nope, we're actually going to help out ICE. I also want to say this, I can't reveal my sources, but I'm just going to pull the curtain back a little bit like I always do in my other videos. The other reason why I'm making this video is because we can see in comment sections, in reposts of social media posts, we can see some protesters are not happy about what's happening, especially with the Portland police showing up, but you also just saw from the local news, a protester said, yeah, this is not right, it doesn't even feel safe.
A new ordinance that makes it harder for ICE to do its job in Portland. The ordinance includes training city employees about what they should do if and when they're approached by ICE and ask for specific information. And it would require the city to research what immigration officials are doing in Portland. On Tuesday, the city's Community and Public Safety Committee will be discussing it. We sat down recently with a member of that committee, District 1 Councilor Loretta Smith.
I agree with the intent. The intent is that we need to be able to tell our city bureaus, you do not have to comply with ICE or others who ask you to do things as it relates to people who are undocumented.
So that's the thing, and this is where it gets gray. The ICE building is an active, functioning facility. It's not only protesters getting arrested and throwing them in the facility and then letting them go. That's not what this is. We're talking about the ICE facility that actually brings in illegal immigrants for a set amount of time and then they get processed somewhere else. So the question I have, and I'm sure the protesters are going to be very mad about this as well, if ICE is arresting protesters and the protesters are protesting ICE in the middle of an operation, we see the deportation operation, like an illegal immigrant is coming in the building, are the police breaking sanctuary policies?
A little over 24 Portlanders have submitted written testimony, the vast majority in support. One writing, I think it's important to reflect our shared values in our city code and not rely on state policy. The only person opposed said in part, I do not think that we should be a sanctuary city. I do believe that officers should not be able to wear masks.
One thing I also want to say, the city council, they are unanimous in their not support for ICE. They want to get rid of that ICE building. So we might also see contention from the city council against the mayor, because when it comes to the city of Portland, the mayor is the one who has ultimate control on his police force. I get comments all the time. I get emails. People really want me to let you guys know, for some reason, when it comes to the city of Portland, the mayor has this direct access or more of an ease to control how the police force is used. Unlike in other police forces, like we saw in New York City, we actually have even seen the police turn their back on Mayor Eric Adams. You can't really do that in Portland. Okay, so this is the Benny Johnson show interviewing Pam Bondi about sanctuary cities. Now, this is going to be the broader picture of sanctuary cities, not only Portland. But what we need to understand, and what I've been covering in Portland, it's the city councilors who have the ability to create these policies that affect the rest of the United States. Because now this is a national story. Now the National Guard, now you have Donald Trump talking about Portland. City councilors could have just sent in the police. Squash everything. Let the protesters protest, but don't let it get too violent. Now we're talking about sanctuary cities potentially not being a thing anymore, and you'll see what Pam Bondi has to say.
You sued Letitia James and New York, and you said enough of the sanctuary cities, right? And they're kicking and screaming right now, but this is a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, and Kathy Hochul. Yeah. And so we started, of course, with Illinois, Chicago, and the state of Illinois, and what did we say?
Oregon as well is on that list.
If you don't listen, you're next. You're going to follow federal law. And New York ignored us, and they were next. And then if you're another state and you're not listening, we're speaking loud and clear, you're going to be next. It's pretty basic. We want to protect the citizens of not only their states, but every state in this country.
And that's what people don't understand. Look, to the Trump administration, to most of us, Antifa, that is not a good thing. A lot of us, we don't like Antifa. However, for the protesters who are protesting ICE, they could really be way more protected if the police show up and tell them, hey, do not cross the line. You're going to get arrested by federal agents. Try to back up. So in many ways, and why I'm making this video, the city council, you could really point to them in Portland for being responsible for all of these arrests and all of these clashes and physical assaults on federal agents as well. And to the Trump administration, they are investigating this.
And when you're seeing just New York alone, Benny, look at all the violent crime happening. Look on the subways, look on the streets. Yet they're protecting people. Laken Riley is one of countless young women and kids and adults who have been by these violent gangs that are in our country, and no state is going to protect a criminal.
Now, as I make this video, there still is pushback from the city council. Again, in my personal opinion, and we saw it several months ago, I would not be surprised if protesters start to put more pressure on the city council. And I think, ironically, the protesters are going to prove the point that conservatives have been trying to say for the longest time. These sanctuary policies don't mean anything when it comes to the federal government enforcing the law of the land.
I want to be clear, there is no crisis, but the president is trying to manufacture one.
This is new tonight. A group of 4 city councilors are pushing a new plan to push back against what they call federal overreach. That proposal is called the Protect Portland Initiative, and if it's passed, it has several parts, including a directive to have Portland police officers try to identify any federal troops who are unmarked and document their activity in the city.
So now the Portland police are having to do more work even though they were told not to be working with ICE. Now Portland wants the Portland police to try and identify masked agents who are unmarked and report that over to the city council.
If they identify themselves, fantastic. Let's verify that that is who they are by checking in with their bureau. And if they won't identify themselves, we need to log that. And then we need to investigate who might have been doing work in our community at that time. Again, because Portlanders have the right to know what federal agents are doing in our community, in our home.
That's Council President Alana Purtle-Guinea. She's one of 4 members behind this proposal. The entire city council will discuss the Protect Portland initiative Wednesday night.
So I've been covering the Portland City Council for quite some time now. What's rather interesting about what you're hearing and seeing, especially for the new people here, the Portland City Council is very united in the fact that they're not fans of ICE. However, what we're seeing is they even have to work within their own parameters of a sanctuary city, where if you want to create more security for the city, you might be breaking sanctuary laws if that includes ICE, which is why I even got into making these videos, because it went so far that the people who live across the street were dialing 911 and the operators would ask, hey, are you near the ICE facility? That's been documented even on the local news. So here we are today. I don't know what's going to happen, but again, the intention of this video is to pretty much let everyone know we need to also focus on the City Council of Portland. We are all focusing on the clashes, we're focusing only on the level of the protesters. Let's look up to the top. Let's look at the policies and see why these protesters are acting the way they are saying what they're doing, and now all of a sudden the police are showing up and now the protesters are mad. I find it all very interesting, and again, I hope you enjoyed this critique. I tried to take it in a different direction. I don't see too many people talking about the Portland officials because there's been a lot that's happened. It's been like a roller coaster. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, please pray for peace. We need that right now in this country. I thank you guys for everything. God bless, and we'll see you all later.